Hi, I'm Dr. Peters with Peters Wellness Chiropractic and Massage. This week's quick video is going to be on time mastery or time management or time utilization, whatever title you want to give it, but I'm going to give it time mastery. And I get that term from Tony Robbins' book, Awaken the Giant Within. If you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book. It is around 500 pages, but I've read it a couple of times over the years, and it's amazing what you pick up. You know, if you a mentor of mine talked about thinking of a book like making a friend. You know, the first time you read it, it's like having a cup of coffee with it. You might scan through the front cover and back cover and read about the author. The next time you sit down, you might have lunch together, whereas you might read 2 or 3 of your favorite chapters that catch your interest the most. But going back to a book and reading it more than one time. And the idea of that, in his book, when he talks about time mastery, the first time I read it, I didn't even catch the idea of it because I skimmed over that part. I wasn't that interested in time management. But as I got older and more time in practice and having a wife and having 3 girls and having all this stuff going on and trying to stay healthy and trying to eat right, time management or time mastery became more of an issue. So last week we talked about goal setting. Now, what does that have to do with time mastery? Well, for me, I have 5 major topics that I put my goals under. I used to have 9. I narrowed it down. And you can have whatever you want as far as a number. But you know, don't get too caught up in the little minute details. Just put it down and get some things under there. I do health goals. That's my number 1 category, because if I'm not healthy, I can't be the best father, I can't be the best doctor, I can't be the best husband, I can't be the best friend. The healthier I am, the more I can give to others. If I'm totally focused on myself, then I'm not giving. Number 2 for me is family. I want to be there for my family. Well, if I'm healthy, I can be a better father, like I said. But family goals are important. You know, planning vacations, planning time off, planning one-on-ones with my kids, doing these different things, having a date night with your significant other. Very, very important. Number 3 for me are financial goals. Well, it's hard to do all these great things. It's hard to support your community if you're barely surviving for yourself. So figuring out ways to increase, you know, my financial area and for other people to do the same, because the more we have, the more we can give to others. Personal growth. You know, last year I read 48 books, and it's just the idea of gaining information, gaining knowledge. Now, I didn't read 50 Shades of Grey. I read books by, you know, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, just some of these great thinkers of our time, and of course some great thinkers of our past time, Benjamin Franklin. These people who lived amazing lives, but not everything about their life was amazing. It's fun to read and learn and understand. And that way we can help better understand ourselves on how or who we are, how we are, and why we might want the things that we want. Business goals. Okay, for me, I'm self-employed, so business goals are important, but that could be career goals if you're working for someone else. So, what does that have to do with time management? Well, and I'm going to review my notes as I talk about this, is understanding that most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So, one of the biggest faults I found in myself in creating goals initially was I was really good at short-term goals. Oh, this week I got to get this done. Next week I'm going to do this. And this month I'm going to do this. Well, my 5 and 10-year goals were lousy. So first, being able to identify that and then make some changes where, hey man, you know what? What is your 10-year goal? Look for someone who's 15, 20 years ahead of you, where you want to be, and they're already there. And have a conversation. How did you get there? What did you do? So time mastery skills, and number 1 is sometimes we feel like we're stuck. You know, you're just stuck in the middle of this report you got to get done. You're stuck in the middle of this meeting. You have phone calls. You're in your car. Everyone's texting you, calling you, and there's like no time, and you're just stuck in the whole busyness of everything. So the idea of it's what you're focusing on. You know, if the time you're in right now is a little bit too stressful and you feel stuck, focus a little bit on the future. Focus on that trip that you want to take. Focus on that house you want to buy. Focus on that car you want to get. Focus on that relationship you want. Change your focus to change your state so it makes the thing that you're doing there palatable. It's like, well, I'm going to get this done because this is going to help me get to where I really want to be. Now, the key there is you need to know where you're going, where you want to be, and why you want to get there. So, and those are topics we could do for 10 other videos. But number 2, the ability to distort time. Now, that sounds kind of weird, but the idea is, I'm going to use the post office as a prime example. If you are at the post office and there is a line of 10 people, sometimes that can take 5 minutes, sometimes it can take 15 to 20 minutes. Me, I turn around and walk out and go do something else. But if you're there, like I like to have my goals on my phone so I can read, I can do things, I can make use of that time, I can utilize it. But notice how when you're in line, if you just stood there and did nothing but wait, how long that 10 minutes can feel. How long that 15 minutes can feel. Now, take another example where, you can go different ways with this, but I think at times spending time with my wife and my girls, and it's just like, not only does an hour fly by, but the day will fly by. The whole weekend goes by and you're like, oh my gosh, where did it go? And it felt like that weekend went faster than standing in the line at the post office. So what you focus on and the ability to look at what time frame you're in and being able to focus on things possibly in the future that will help time go by quicker. Next, urgency versus importance. So urgency versus importance. A lot of times urgent things come up. Hey, we got to do this. Hey, this person called. Hey, this isn't working. We got to deal with this issue. There's all these things going on that are urgent. Very different than what's important. Now, sometimes they could be the same, but you have these things maybe on your task list that you have to get done. They're so important, but all these little urgent things come up. Make sure you're learning how to set aside time to work on the important things and not just the urgent things. So, there is so much to this, and I realize this video went long, but I hope that you can look at time management and see it as a way to make your life better by understanding it and learning to distort time in your favor. Have a great week.